Hey YouTube, going to run through a couple of guitar active onboard preamps you can buy. Okay, they're not actually, these are meant to go in the guitar. As you see, I've put them in this old Marshall foot pedal switch, so I've got like an in and out. And there's two. There's this one which is an active boost, and then there's this one which is an Artec QD. I've got the thing on the screen, I'll get to that later. So basically what I've done is just stuck it in this box. So you get a 9-volt battery. There is the 6 decibel boost thing. As you can see, it's a wee PCB with a switch on it. This has quite easy to connect up. It tells you on it what it does. The one that it doesn't tell you what one of them is. One of the it's got like an in and an out. So you would take the output of your volume control or the output of your pickup switch, goes in, and then the out goes to wherever the wire was going. A red and a black were going to the battery, and the other wire is an earth wire which you just put on the ground point somewhere in the guitar. Pretty simple thing. The other one is an Artec one which I'll go on to. I've just got them both wired in series, so only one of them's on. So if I just put this back together again so the battery doesn't fall out. So this is just doing exactly the same as what it would if you had it in the guitar. You can see there's not that much to it. It's called, if you look up eBay, it's an active onboard preamp G-201P, made by a guy in Poland by the looks of things. Was it Gandalf something? Gandalf Electronics. He's only got 168 stars. He's not made very many of them. I didn't buy this. I bought my pal Wayne gave me a West Tone Thunder to fix up, and it came with the original 18-volt preamp system which had been disconnected, and it was that was in it instead, which kind of pretty much does the same sort of thing. 6 decibel boost. It's nice having playing a real guitar again. I've just done a video of this monstrosity. This is an Iron Strat, and I kind of started getting used to playing it after talking about it for 5 minutes. Kind of playing it, managed to make it sound. But going back to like having a real guitar is lovely. So this is the active boost thing off. So you could put this as a guitar. I think this is quite a good guitar to do it with. This is my Japanese Strat, because it says quite a low output, jangly type guitar. And I'm using my Laney VC15, so a valve amp coming through the bottom there, the 3x12 cabinet. Mic's up there, might rotate that around a little bit. Yep. So let's see what the boost does. It makes it louder. Off again. Right, the volume is slightly quiet because this is quite a low output guitar. One thing another thing that this could really help with is if you're using a very, very long lead, like Angus Young style in the 70s, something like this would just boost the signal that goes along your lead, so it wouldn't degrade as much. Just thinking of boost on. I've got a funny feeling if you did put this in your guitar, you'd be tempted to leave it on all the time. Well, this may be useful. I'm sitting there thinking if you've got one guitar, but maybe if you had, say you were gigging with my two boring guitars like the SG, and this SG is a much more powerful guitar than what this is. So if you were maybe switching between them at like gigs and stuff like that, having that boost in this would probably bring it up to more like the same level, but it still sounds the same. It's just louder. There's so you don't need to adjust your amp between songs. There might be a bit of a chance of that. I mean, it was simple as you can imagine to use. So it comes in at £9.60 plus £6 postage, so it's about 15 quid or something like that. I think it probably comes with a battery clip, and it doesn't really say, does it? Hello, I offer for sale active preamp. Analogworkshop.eu. I looked up there's a wee website actually written on the back of the PCB, and I looked it up and it was closed, it shut down. So I assumed the guy had stopped making them, but he's still on eBay. Preamp is analog design on discrete components. A JFET transistor, handmade, high quality, each preamp tested. DP double pole double throw switch. Power 9V battery, 6 decibels of gain, low power consumption, very high input impedance. You can request a different mega ohms if you try to use it for a piezo, which is maybe quite good for like if you've got like a piezo that doesn't have an active EQ system in it in your acoustic. That may be interesting actually. I could maybe do that for my double neck acoustic and electric telly. That might be something that would be quite interesting for that. Or even any guitar that's got a piezo bridge in it. No, because there's a problem if you're mixing a piezo bridge and magnetic pickups. They don't like to be mixed together. I've tried to do it before, thinking, well, if you just put a volume control on each one, but you end up sitting there with the volume controls, and you sit there and there's one point of the volume control where you can hear both the piezo and the magnetic pickups. But as soon as you move it any direction, it just goes completely. You're all magnetic or you're all piezo. Something to do with impedance. I don't really understand it, but it can't be done. Anytime I've used any of the guitars I've got piezo bridges, have got 2 outputs, and one goes into the acoustic amp and one goes into the electric amp. Easy installation, included manual battery connector and a stereo jack socket. Ability to work with other instruments other than guitars. Well, it's just a 6 decibel boost, so you can basically put it in anything that needs a 6 decibel boost. I wonder what it does with a bit of distortion. I might do this in 2 videos just to try and maximise the number of views I get, because I've got the Artec one as well, which is a bit more complicated. I've not decided what I'm going to do with this one yet. It might go in one of my guitars. Don't know. I don't see why. Well, maybe try it with the bass as well. I've tried a bit of so I've got the Joyo US Dream pedal I've been using. Boosted. Not boosted. Boosted. It really does sound better on that. Backtrack putting. pressed the wrong button there. So I've not got the bass back plugged in, so I'm just playing through the guitar amp. So here's the bass playing through it. Now if I turn it on, can't really grumble about it. Does exactly what it says to do. By the by, this bass actually does have an active boost in it, which was crackling an awful lot, and now it's not working at all, so I think the battery's gone, which I've not used it in years, so basically probably a very similar thing to that. Basically it's making the amp overdrive a little bit. So really good clean boost. I'm wondering if the guy does like the Eric Clapton mid boost circuit. I've got a Washburn G15 that's got a variable. It's basically a similar sort of thing, apart from it only affects the mid frequencies, which I think is called it. Eric Clapton has a similar thing in his Strat, like a mid boost circuit. I wonder if he does one like that, because I'd imagine it's probably, you know, the actual amplifier bit there is there, so it'd just be a case of having some caps so it didn't amplify the bass and the treble and it boosted just the mid. That's probably alterable on your own. Another advantage I could think about it would be, as I was saying there about the double neck with the, yeah, when you've got I've got a double neck, it's got an acoustic, so it's got a piezo pickup and an electric one. Maybe use it in that, but thinking, see if you've got a double neck bass in guitar, it might help a lot, because they don't like mixing together either to play through the one amp. Again, I just put two outputs on these things and have the bass come through the bass amp and the guitar come through the guitar amp. But if you wanted to try and use it through the one, you might find that boost would just be really handy for whatever one's quieter. I think the problem I had with the double neck was I had to have the guitar turned down really low, and the guitar didn't really sound that good. You know, when you've got the volume at half, it didn't sound as good as it did when it's up at full. But if you had the guitar at full and the bass at full, the guitar was much louder than the bass. So it might have a use in that. Also, it might have a use in, like, if you've got some crazy wiring, like I just did a Strat yesterday, with like phase sounds in it, because the phase is, you know, when the two cancel out, it's a really thin wiry sound. It's also a good bit quieter. If you really like the phase sounds but you wish it wasn't quieter, you could have that boost thing, so you put the phase on and put that boost on and it would probably bring it up. I believe, in fact I know that I did my pal Ian's Steve Lukather Ernie Ball Music Man guitar, a very expensive guitar, and it had a preamp in it, kind of a similar sort of idea to that. And what it did was, it meant that, see when you're on a Strat and you're in position, the neck pickup's really loud, it had like varying levels in it, so that all the pickups were exactly the same volume. So when you went into position 4, you didn't get a drop in volume, it stayed exactly the same volume, and it was adjustable with wee trim pots. So it had like a preamp like that, with maybe, well, 4 points on it, so you could adjust so that each position on your 5-way switch was exactly the same volume. You know, like it was all boosted, so that they were all totally level, which makes sense. You know, if you notice it very much with my Strat, if you're on the bridge pickup, it's a lot quieter than the neck pickup is. So you could kind of have a boost on that bit. That's it. So the varied to that. I wonder if there's some way of putting a. Yeah, I suppose you could put a volume control on it quite easily. just put it in series with a volume control in the boost circuit, so that you could have it set to a set amount rather than it just being the set 6 decibels. Yeah, so that was the, what did I say, it was a G-201P, which I think is probably worth it if you've got like what the chap had done. He hadn't wired it up right, it wasn't working when I got it in that Westone Thunder, but if you've got something like a Westone Thunder that's got a crazy circuit board that's gone, or the Thunder 1A, or the Thunder 2A, A for active, you could pretty much just put that in and it does the same sort of job as a boost circuit. I think BC Rich's also had that boost circuit. I think part of that to do was with the Mockingbirds and the bits that have got lots of switches on them. A lot of them are your phase and coil split. So if you coil split the two pickups and then put them out of phase, it becomes really quiet. So that boost would give you the phased coil split sound, but at the same volume as what it was with the humbuckers. So you just have to remember to turn it off when you went back on the humbuckers, otherwise the humbuckers would be louder as well. Again, I've made it sound much more difficult than it is. Rock on, catch you in the next video, which I'm just about to do for the Arctic QTP4, whatever it is. Rockin'.